Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. It's another episode of the flagship show on Cannon Fodder TV. It's the Easy Talk. Easy Talk equals Friday. Friday equals the Easy Talk. I can't wait for this one because we've got the cheeky chappy back in the house as well as Isaac. Yeah. We're waiting for the Godfather to arrive sometime in the house soon. He's stuck in traffic. He's stuck in traffic. I don't know why he didn't just use his airplane. Use his airplane. He's got an airplane. Anyway, guys, we'll get into this one on the other side of this music intro. Oh, Alfie, welcome back. Yes, indeedy. Welcome back to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. It's another segment of the Easy Talk. Oh, my goodness. This one, I'm preparing myself. I've had some wine to drink because we've got Alfie back, the cheeky chappy on the channel. I kid you not. A couple of glasses of wine just to kind of relax myself, release all the tension and the stress. But anyway, guys, make sure you subscribe. You got to subscribe because if you don't subscribe, you're going to miss out on all the content running on Cannon Fodder TV. Now for the intros. On this side, Isaac, how are you, my friend? How are you?
I'm good, Alex, and the Cannon Fodder family. How are you all?
We are fine. We are good. We are relaxed. Well, for the next few minutes anyway. But everyone's good over here. Everyone's fine. How's your family?
My family is doing great. We thank God.
Brilliant. Nice to hear. Give me it up. Alfie!
Hi guys. It's a pleasure to be back, and yeah, just traveling around. Let's see how everything goes.
Brilliant. Okay. All right. So yeah. Oh. Alfie, you're the image. You're frozen. Alfie. Oh, look at that. Just as we're going. Alfie, can you hear me? Alfie, can you hear me? He can't hear us.
Yeah, I guess you can't
Let me
hear
just
us.
try something. Let me try something very, very quickly. Listen, these things happen. Let me put him out, and maybe he can put himself back in. But anyway, that's not going to deter us from getting on with the East Talk. No, it never stops us. Listen, unlike Arsenal, we get the show whether it's raining outside, whether it's cold, because we're inside. We just get the show on the road. Anyway, Isaac, I've seen a quote from Mikel Arteta. Let me just pull up his profile just for a few seconds. So there was a quote from Arteta's press conference, and then he says, "I've seen the lights. I can see bright lights. There can be bumps in the road within that light, but I can see a lot of lights." Has he lost his marbles? Is he gone crazy or what? Isaac, what's going on with Arteta? What's going on with him?
All I can say is that Arteta is like a psychological therapist. If he could translate all the positivity and the energy to the field, actually we will be winning. If all the confidence that he displays will be displayed in the field, we'll be at top of the table as we speak. But he's very articulate. He's very fluent in the way he speaks. You might be stressed about Arsenal, but when you watch his press conferences, you think, wow, I guess this guy is going to turn it upside down. Uh, I think that he's not going to be sacked anytime soon.
I
I
agree.
want to be very honest with
Yeah.
the fan base. I don't think he's going to be sacked anytime soon. The way he speaks with confidence, I guess he knows that he's been given time, or he knows what is going behind the scenes, and he's very confident that he's keeping his job.
I absolutely agree with you. He's not going anywhere. too soon. And I know there's always a division amongst the supporters at Arsenal, but I don't try and invest any time in regards to Arteta in or Arteta out. But Alfie is back with us. Alfie, I've just read some quotes from Mikel Arteta, your favourite manager, and I think Alfie's gone again. Alfie, are you with us? He's gone again. Alfie, what's going on, Alfie? Alfie! Yeah, his connection's gone again. Listen, we're going to have to continue. Let me just try something very, very quickly and see if it will work. Alfie, you're back?
He's back.
You're back?
Yeah, yes, I'm back.
Okay,
Sorry, I
okay,
think
good.
we have some connection problems.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's been a quote from Mikel Arteta, and he's saying that I've seen the lights. I can see bright lights. There can be bumps in the road within that light, but I can see a lot of lights. What is going on with Mikel Arteta, Alfie? God, my goodness.
I don't know. As Isaac was saying, like, yeah, he seems sure. He seems like he's gonna keep his job. I
Yeah.
wish he didn't, to be honest, because no, we
What's he
have
done
a
to you?
standard. I don't know, because he gave me the saddest season that we ever had. That's basically what it is. Um, and the worst results ever. So I don't know how we can expect him to do that.
Yeah. Alfie continues to have problems with his connection. But Isaac, what do you think he's referring to when he says that he can see bright lights?
Earlier in the week, there was a quote from Josh Kronk, and he said in his quote that the first thing he discussed with Mikel after he was signed as manager was about changing the culture at Arsenal. So, to my understanding, I believe that perhaps in that discussion, he was given sufficient time to build the squad. And when you look at what he's trying to do, building this squad with young players, young and energetic, it is now that he can say that I have my team, give me time now to work on it. Because it is now time that I have signed whoever I needed in the areas that I needed. So when he says that now I have seen light, or I see light at the end of the tunnel, it is the positive aspects perhaps that he's seeing from the players or the improvements that he's seeing. And earlier he said that after the Norwich win, that they were the best ever 15 days of his life. So I believe he has his time, and he's going to take his time to try and build on this code that he has. So when he says he's seeing light at the end of the tunnel, so basically he's assured of his job. Now he's been told, now you have your squad, you are assured of your job, we are not going to sack you anytime soon. So build on your squad perhaps for the next one season or 1.5 seasons. So that is why he speaks like someone who's very sure of his job.
Yeah. Alfie, your thoughts
Hello.
before we lose you again.
Yes. I don't know. No, yeah, he's definitely sure that he's going to stay. I don't know why. There is no reason behind it. The only reason that I can see is that we gave him 150 million, and we have to see what can he would do with that, right? So we're gonna give him that time to say, okay, settle your squad. Let's gonna play with those kids. Let's see what they can do, and we're gonna judge you probably at the end of the season. I'm gonna be judging him every single match though. Like,
Yeah.
if they lose tomorrow, then we have to judge. If they don't play as a team, we have to judge, because that's way too much money. Way too much money that we gave him. Like, we have been asking for this for a long time, so now he has to deliver it. Yes, he's gonna have time, but I don't think he's that relaxed at the same time. He's gonna have until December. If in December I mean, that squad doesn't improve, like there is that project that we've been waiting for, that way, that style of play, then we have to make decisions and he has to go. But yeah, just leaving the that particular talk about sacking the manager on one side, we have to support him. That's our team. That's what he chose. But he has a big responsibility to deliver, because if he doesn't, then that would be a waste of 150 million.
Yeah, and I think the problem is as well, Alfie. On top of that, I think you're dead right insofar as we have to judge him on every single game, because it hasn't been the best start of the season. So whatever he does, I think, whether he goes, like I said on last week's Easy Talk, whether he goes on a run of unbeaten games of 5 or 10 games, what's going to happen after that? He loses games, the pressure is going to be back on him again. So every single game, I think he deserves to be critiqued. We have to judge him on every single game from there on in. But what's your thoughts on the play? Because I know you haven't been on East Talk for the longest time. So what are your thoughts on the players that Arteta has brought in? Tavares, Lokonga. What do you think about the
They
players?
could, like good prospects. It's not something that I would have picked myself, because he's looking at a long term, which is a good idea in brackets, but we need the results now though. Like we were last on the table just last week. So yeah, like I think we all think the same. Like I can see what he's trying to do, but he has to deliver it. Like we have standards. We need to go back to the Champions League as soon as possible. We cannot say, oh, we're gonna be back in Champions League in 3 years while these kids develop. No, they need to set up a goal, a specific goal where you can say we need to achieve this by this season. And I think that achievement must be go back to Champions League football.
Just one more question now for you. I want to ask the same question to Isaac. There's been a lot of talk about, well, Antonio Conte is out of a job. If the club sack Mikel Arteta, what can an Antonio Conte bring to Arsenal, Alfie? Without any money, he's not going to have any money, is he?
He doesn't, but he has the experience, he has the support, he has the expertise. I mean, at the end of the day, the only criticism that we have from Arteta is that he thinks he knows what he's doing, but he has never really managed. This is the first team, and it's a big team to be a like we haven't given this team not even to Vieira, that was a club legend. He's just doing Crystal Palace for the moment. Not even Thierry Henry, we haven't done it as well. So like sometimes I ask myself that question: why Arteta though? Like why we gave him this team in this moment to that manager? But they believe in him, uh, and we have to as well. So yeah, it's complicated, but at the end of the day, we have to see it game by game. We have to wait and see. But what I want to see from him is the identity of the Arsenal back, that possession game that I mean, at the moment when I see the games, it's just Arsenal against Arsenal. It's always like silly mistakes in the back. It's not that the opposition is dominating, nothing like that. It's just us making the same errors that we have been making for the last couple of years. So we have to, start fixing those. And when we fix those, then we can move forward. That's basically what it is for the moment.
Isaac, very quickly to you, Antonio Conte, what can he bring if or when Arsenal sacks Mikel Arteta?
Okay, just like Alfie, I believe the only thing that is going to bring in is experience as a manager, which Arteta does not have. As just Alfie said, this has been his first team. And just to touch on what Alfie said, he does not know why Arteta was given this team at this time. I believe he was given this team because he understands the identity. He has been at Arsenal. He understands the culture. And when he took over, I believe they needed someone who did not need a huge budget, which Arteta did not need.
That is a good point, actually. A very good point. Godfather's in the house. Elto, you look like you've just done somebody over.
I know. I've got all these bags behind me, and it's just to remind anybody watching that they could end up in any one of them bags. Okay, so just play it straight. Otherwise, you might end up in one of these bags.
Godfather, good to see you back. Good to see you back, Godfather.
Sorry, I'm late. I got stuck. My son was a teacher. He was on school journey, and the coach got caught somewhere, and I was sat in Hampstead waiting for him for ages, and then got caught in the North Circular. But anyway, I'm here. We're just about to be playing Burnley. We've got Arteta, whose future is on a knife edge, and isn't it great to be an Arsenal fan?
I'm not so sure about that. But Godfather, there's a quote that I took from his recent press conference, and he said that I've seen the lights. I can see bright lights. There can be bumps in the road within that light, but I can see a lot of lights. Has he lost his marbles still?
Well, I think, do you know what? He keeps such a perky personality up there, and he's got these lovely quotable quotes. I think he's paying an awful lot of money to a therapist, and the therapist is telling him, say this, say that, take the pills and keep smiling, because he comes over as a guy that as his team is doing brilliantly well. Instead, we're what are we, 16th, 17th, and we're playing Burnley, the graveyard of so many, teams. And I don't know. I mean, I think I might have told you guys before, a lot of my mates go to all the games, home and away. And one of the places they dread going is Burnley. It's not a comfortable place to watch a football match. It's and I mean, the accommodation for away supporters is diabolical, apparently. And if your team lose, well, it's a bit of a disaster. But we'll see. I mean, personally, I feel, yes, Arteta's on a knife edge, but he's certainly not showing it. So the pills have kicked in, and he's keeping it very upbeat, which is good. And he's got to think positively, because anything else would make him go off trying to find the nearest bridge to jump off.
Let's go. We haven't even gone to the first segment. The first segment was about confronting questions. Come game time tomorrow against Burnley away from home, the first thing I'm thinking is that Sean Dyche and his bully men, they would have, I'm sure, reviewed the first game of the season for Arsenal, Brentford, and they would have looked at the battle between, I call it Mr. IT, Ivan Toney, and Ben White. And I'm thinking, they've got Chris Wood. Who would target Ben Whitetail.
Well, they will. And I watched the first half of the Everton-Burnley match. I mean, it was pitiful. It was so boring. It was unbelievable. But they didn't have their normal centre forward, Everton, and Burnley's two centre backs, is it me and Tarkowski? They roughed up Charlison. You know that Richarlison, the Brazilian. They gave him a right rough time, and he tends to be on a pretty short fuse himself. And I thought he was going to get himself sent off. So they are going to give us, they're going to wrap us up. And what they did or tried to do to Everton was attack down the wings, get their wingers and their fullbacks forward, and ping those crosses to the far post. And they've got two big forwards, and who will. I mean, if we play, which I think we will, if we play Ben White, he's not going to win the ball in the air. And I suspect that Arteta will be looking at what Everton did. And if you want to talk tactics, what Everton did was they played a back three, or if you like, with the fullback, it's a back five. But it made the game incredibly boring. It was nothing was happening, and it was a pretty awful game. And then in the second half, Burnley scored, and suddenly Rafa Benitez, clever manager, thought, I'm not going to do this. We aren't going to win this way. So he went to a flat back four, pushed the fullbacks forward, and pinged balls across and scored 3 goals, all in the space of about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So Arteta's choices: do I start like Burnley with a flat back 3 with two fullbacks who either drop into a 5 or move forward? Because there's no doubt about it, if the ball is played high, then we need Gabriel on his toes. We need the new Japanese right back to be on his toes. And then, of course, it's always the second ball. And this is the key to Ben White. Ben White's job will not be to challenge for the first ball. That will be for the guys I've just mentioned. And then Ben White is the sort of sweeper. He's going to tidy things up. And if the ball comes into the box, and people may not know this, but I did put some stuff up. I think it might have been on our WhatsApp thing, but I found a website that gives you massive data into, for instance, goalkeepers. And you could do it for any position on the field. And it turns out, and we all kind of knew this being Arsenal fans, that Emi Martinez was the best at collecting crosses in the Premier League last year. And we've all known that. He dominates his area. What's he, 6'4" or 5? He times his runs. He's a big guy. He's brave. But interestingly, our most recent goalkeeping addition came second. So that must have been in the melting pot when they were deciding which player to buy to replace Leno. They must have looked at this guy, Ramsdale, and said, well, he's very good at coming for crosses. And of course, coming for a cross is not just about height, although height is part of it. It's being brave, finding your way through traffic. And as I say that as well, the one thing I would be very worried about is set pieces. I would be worried about Burnley corners. And what they'll try and do is stick a man on our goalie, stop him moving, stop him getting off his line, stop him coming to attack the cross. So we do have a brand new, coach for free kicks and set pieces. He did work for Man City, and he's now working for Arsenal. So he's early doors. This is only his 4th or something game in. But I do worry as an Arsenal fan that we're going to have to be really careful, because they will sling. They've got these 2 big forward strikers. They're brave, big northern brave guys. They've got these 2 big centre backs, and they are going to attack every single ball. And it will remind you of Ivan Toney and the way Brentford went for us. So Arteta and his back team there have had enough time to think about what happened at Brentford and come up with a solution.
Isaac, I'm not hopeful for tomorrow.
Can we get Isaac to play? Isaac, you look like a big fella.
Godfather, I'm here, and
get him on.
I'm not a coach. I don't play anymore. I coach football. But what I can add from what the Godfather said, during the Burnley game, I saw similarities with the Chelsea game somehow. That our defenders, our 2 centre backs, were roughed up like featherweights with Ivan Toney and the likes of Romelu Lukaku. But the presence that Gabriel brings into this team is very, very key, because he's physical, he's very athletic. And given the addition of Tomiyasu, I believe we have some cover going forward. So, though Arteta has not won against Burnley as a manager, he's only managed 2 draws, and he lost 1 courtesy to Aubameyang's own goal. Tomorrow, I have some. I've also seen some light, as Arteta says. I believe it's going to be his first game winning against Burnley. But I'll be worried if he's going to overthink sometimes, as he does.
Yeah.
And goes with a back five. Yeah, as Godfather said, it will be very boring. But if he goes with a back four, the game will be very, very interesting.
Oh, God, dear me. Alfie.
The problem with the light is that the light can be a revelation, yeah, or can be just the bus hitting you. That's the problem. Like, you don't know because you just see the light, and is it a good light or a bad light? We have to wait. But yeah, something shocking at the end of the day. Burnley. I can't believe that we're having these conversations for Burnley. But that's the reality, though. We shouldn't go with the back three, I think. I mean, back five at the end of the day, because again, I think we just got used to being, I don't know, like mediocre. Like, we're Arsenal. We're not supposed to be scared of Burnley. I think if we go with the back four at the beginning and then things get complicated, yes, we can go back to the back five. But we need to go for that game. We need to play our best team available. We need to create chances. We need to start putting the ball in the box and start scoring. Like, there is no more excuses. We had 3 very difficult games at the beginning of the season. We all were aware of that. But now it's no more excuses, no more metaphors. We have to start getting the goals in. That's it.
Yeah. So you're actually saying that rather than being use the words of Unai Emery, we have to be the protagonist rather than being like the victim.
Yeah, definitely. Because we can. I mean, we're not getting the results. We're not getting the points that we want playing badly. We are just waiting. We might as well just try to push for it and let's be the protagonist. Yeah.
So quick question, Alfie. So prediction, Alfie? Exactly.
Yeah. No, I will answer at that at the end. Let's gonna start with Eltel and Isaac because I have to think about it.
Eltel's got a different bit of accessory.
Well, I saw it at I saw it. I had Eltel down there, so I thought I'd get the old Spanish gear out, you know. Yeah, so and a big shout out to all my friends in Ireland and all my friends who support Everton and so on. And so basically, yes, I did read that Arteta said, again, he did say, "Oh, I can see light at the end of the tunnel," which you've mentioned. The problem is, it's the train coming in the opposite direction that he's seeing, and you might be in a bit of trouble. But I think, do you know what? I'm always upbeat. I think Arsenal are going to win. I think it might be more by luck than design. But I think, as Everton found out, you know, you've got to attack Burnley. And if you're frightened of them, and if you're worried about these big centre backs and these big guys up front, then it all goes wrong. So attack them, keep a straight flat back four, pack that midfield. I'm not sure if Partey will play the whole game, but get all the rest of the good players out there and go for it, Arsenal. Come on, don't mess about. This is Burnley. Turf Moor, for crying out loud. We've spent big money. Come on, Arteta. Get them out there, and let's come back to London with a 2 or 3-0 win.
Tell, quick question before we go to the next segment. You know the likes of Kieran Tierney doesn't have the best injury-free record. Would you play him tomorrow? Knowing fully well that Burnley are going to come out all guns blazing. Would you play him tomorrow?
Well, the thing about Tierney is he plays at 120%. And he does that for Arsenal, and he does that for Scotland, and I'm sure he does that in his whole life. He wouldn't be walking down the shops for a bottle of milk. He'd be sprinting off down there, you know. Everything is at full pelt. So they all wear this thing now that sort of monitors their speed and the distance covered. And I would say at some stage we've got to be prepared to put in Tavares, who looks a very good player. Not sure it's come to that point yet, but I don't want to overplay Tierney because he's such a good player, and we have talked about him as a possible future captain. But I don't want them to overplay him. So look at the metrics as is the buzzword, and as soon as you think he's pushing it too hard, let Tavares play. Certainly, we've got a League Cup match, haven't we, against Wimbledon coming up, and that would be a good chance to play Tavares. And our second goalkeeper now, which is Leno. And Leno, I don't know if anybody's noticed this. He actually never smiles. I've never seen him smile, and I don't know why. If his boots are too tight and he's not in a happy place on the pitch, but at least Ramsdale is. He's lively. He's happy. He's a happy-go-lucky guy. Somebody did ask what size hands he has. I don't know if you've come upon this. Somebody saw him play and they said, "Why is he wearing oven gloves?" He must have enormous hands, because we used to have a goalkeeper called Pat Jennings who had these enormous hands and he could pick the ball up off the ground with just one hand. But keep it positive, lads, is what I'd say. And we've been through bad times before. And as I'm sure his Arteta's therapist is saying, the only way is up.
Let's go into the live chat before we go into the second segment. I've got Mube Guna, chairman of the board, who says, "What's up, family? Alfie back again. What's up, my guy?" Big Dog says, "Hello, lads. 1-1. Oh, a draw tomorrow. I'm not so sure about that. We shouldn't blindly support something which we deep down know is doomed to fail." Positivity out the window. DMC, welcome back to the Hello Gents. 4-1 to the Arsenal tomorrow. Big positivity there. It's 50-50 for Conte. Man loves being the hero, but why would he ruin his reputation at Relegation Battle FC? Relegation Battle FC. Ray from Arsenal Fan Circle says, Panama City Hotel. Or Panama City. Yeah, nice one. 12 heads in a duffel bag. Oh my goodness. That's a good one, actually. Actually, the moderator for the evening says, "I'm sure Eltel has sprayed them glasses black." Wouldn't we do that? Ray says, "A brilliant test for Arsenal. This is how the players should feel about the game." Burnley haven't won at home for 11 games, Alfie. Here comes Don Mikel to break his 34th record. Keep it positive, people. Trini Guna J says, to beat Burnley, we need to play a back four firstly to create chances and score some goals. If we reach 65, 70 minutes and we scored 2 or 3 goals, we revert back to a back three to stop their danger man, McNeil. What do you think about that, Isaac? Oh.
I don't think parking the bus is Arsenal's philosophy. Arsenal does not park the bus best. So if we decide to play attacking football, it is attacking to 90 plus.
Yeah.
If we play attacking and go back to a back three and then say let's park the bus, we have conceded goals in late minutes when we try to park the bus.
Alfie, what do you think? Agree?
If we score 3, we can just leave. Like, I would be happy with those 3. Because Burnley's not going to come back from 3, but we're not scoring 3. It's just not going to. Yeah. I think the difficult part is just we being 3-0 at the 70 minute. It just won't happen.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
maybe you'll never know with this team. Hopefully,
yeah,
hopefully. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, if we just play attacking football, even if it's not the 90 minutes, and we score one or two, and we look confident, we should be able to go with that game in the hand. But if not,
Yeah.
um, if we are hesitant, if we are disconnected, if they are not understanding each other, we will suffer and suffer a lot. If Burnley scores the first one, then it's done. We are not winning that game.
Okay. DWTT says, hello, 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 Easy Talk panel. Come on, you gunners. Good evening, Alex, Isaac, Alfie, and Eltel. Hoping for something expected tomorrow. No more surprises, Arsenal. Expected equals win. I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing. Let's go on to the second segment. The second segment is kind of born out from the Easy Talk we did last week. There was a stat. One of my subscribers said 42 different combinations, starting 11s, in 45 games. Now I'm scratching my head. I'm thinking, Mikel Arteta, have you ever started the same 11 in back-to-back games? No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. But Isaac, I want to ask you this question. Which players should form the core of a starting 11, in your personal opinion?
Start with Ramsdale, Tierney. We have Ben White, Gabriel. Now we have Tomiyasu, Partey, Lokonga. We have Saka, Pepe, Aubameyang, and this guy we got from Real Madrid.
Odegaard.
Those are 11.
Martin Odegaard.
Odegaard, yes.
Okay. So that is your core. That's your core group of players, yeah?
That is my core, yes.
Okay. Alfie, for you, who should you... And this is the problem, if I was to say, all right, Godfather, tell me your core group of players. Alfie, tell me your core group of players. More often than not, all four of us will have different players that will form the core group of players. But anyway, Alfie, your core group of players.
Well, for Eltel is Emi Martinez.
Hey,
Yeah, let him go. Let him go. It's done.
Emmy,
Yeah,
Emmy,
no,
Emmy,
it's done.
Emmy,
Yeah,
Emmy.
that's like keep texting your ex-girlfriend. Oh, please come back. No, she's gone. Move on. It's done. I don't know. I don't know. I think we should, for example, in the goalkeeping position, like we should stick with Leno. Man, without that guy, we'd be in Sunday League. Is just a fact. Like we haven't been like so sure of a goalkeeper for a long time. I remember those times with Almunia and Lemon, and it was horrendous. Like we had a really really good midfield, but as soon as we were attacked, we were suffering. Yeah, maybe he's a little bit um on the downside, but I would be if I had David Luiz in front of me. I would be as a goalkeeper. So yeah, we have to stick with with the people that we think that is going to take this team forward. And I see that character in Leno, in Tierney for sure. Uh, I don't see that character in Cedric, for example, or in Ben White because they're just too new, and they are yeah, just they are good players, but they are not the core of Arsenal. I can see like the passion that I would like to see is just definitely Kieran Tierney. That boy plays like you can tell that he would play in the same way with any team. Like
Yeah.
he's just happy playing football. And it's not about money for him, it's about the game. And that's what we should be like we should have as the core. Definitely Saka, that has been our savior as well. Without Saka, I don't know where we would be. And we have to move on from certain players. I think that I don't know, Shaka is done for me a long time ago, like I don't know, 7 seasons ago. um,
That's what he's doing.
exactly. I don't know. We have to move on from El Neni. Obviously, we have to give opportunities to Lokonga, to Martinelli, and Ketia is just not good enough. We should have cashed in for him. Um, but yeah, it's difficult because even though like we're talking about the core, there's not really a core because those players are very very new, and we lost our identity. We don't know how Arsenal plays, or at least I haven't like realized in the last 3 4 seasons. I don't know what kind of game do we play, but yeah, let's stick with the passion ones, and it's you know Odegaard, Saka, Tierney definitely, and Smith Rowe. That the youngsters, that's our core for the moment.
So a quick question before I go to our hotel, Alfie. We won last week. Is surely there's the
Barely.
say again?
Barely.
Last week, Norwich.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
So
very,
would you keep the same 11 for Burnley?
yeah, because we need to find some consistency, and I mean, that team struggled a lot. Like, we were lucky to win that game. We have to say it. That was like, again, as I was saying before, Arsenal against Arsenal. Because it's not that Norwich was playing anything. It was just us not being able to score or wasting like very, very clear chances that we have to take. That if we don't score those against Norwich, we're not gonna score those against Man United with Ronaldo. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's gonna build consistency. But as you were saying, like, how am I gonna ask? Yeah, let's gonna keep the same 11 when we have 45 different, you know, uh, set of players in 40 something games. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And for you, Tel, another change of accessory, headwear.
Yeah. I mean, I like what Alfie's saying, but I'm a bit worried. Is he broadcasting from a submarine? Because he's got like a metal ladder going up the front, and then what looks like an escape hatch coming out the top. Is he in a nuclear sub somewhere? Good man. Cheers. That's brave of you. Okay. In fact, we're playing so bad, people are trying to get down to the bottom of the ocean to try and get
That's
away from
what I was gonna say. Yes, I'm trying to go down as much as possible. So I understand what is it to go back again, to go back up.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'd say in all honesty, he doesn't know his best team. He knows he's got some top quality players. He's got Tierney. He's relying a lot on Gabriel, who had a dip in form after a very good start, and he needs to be the brute. He needs to be the guy that dominates any big centre forward, and I haven't seen that happen so far. But that's what you need him to be, because certainly Ben White can't do that. Then we've got some cracking players, and we all know them. Neil Smith-Rowe. We've got Odegaard. We've got Saka. Has anybody noticed the similarity in the way that Odegaard plays compared to Özil? Very similar.
Yes.
Left-footed player, likes to play on the right of midfield and cuts
Yeah,
in.
whatever. But we were the club that hated Ozil. So why are we gonna compare him with Ozil if we hated Ozil? Like,
Do you
that's
know
so
what?
hypocritical. That's such an Arsenal thing to say.
Well, absolutely, and he's so similar. Very, very similar style of play, doing exactly the same things, except that Özil decided it was more important to earn as much money as possible. And hopefully Odegaard is driven by different things. But it's interesting to compare the styles, and they're very, very similar. Now, in terms of what's our core team, I think it is emerging the team that Arteta would like to be his core team. And it's this English goalkeeper, quite an English vibe to the team. We've got the English goalkeeper, Ramsdale. We've got Ben White, who I think has got a good England career in front of him. We've got the Scottish guy on left back. We've got Gabriel. We've got the new right back, Japanese guy. So there's a good mixture of people from around the world. We've got some good midfield players. We've got the young Belgian boy that's come in. We've got Partey. We've got some good players. But I agree with Alfie that I really do think that we shouldn't be having Xhaka here at all. I think he's and it was proved. Was his second game in that he decides to do a completely stupid tackle and gets himself sent off. So he's blotted his copybook, and if I was an Arsenal manager, I wouldn't play again. And in terms of up front, of course, I think it's all going to change. I'm absolutely convinced this is Aubameyang's last season with us, as it is with Lacazette. We could do with a big guy up the front, and thinking of Isaac there that's just been interviewed. There is a Swedish guy, I think his name is called Isaac. He's a young 22-year-old fella, 6'4", very lightly built but fast and good in the air. And I think we are going to see a new shaped attack. But we've got some cracking players there, but they're all quite young. We have the old heads have caused all kinds of trouble, and we only know the half of what's been going on in that dressing room. And if you read any of these books by any of these experienced players or managers, they will tell you that the dressing rooms are often full of personalities, difficult characters who challenge the manager. And I'm sure a lot of that's gone on. And it's a real shame, because I do like Arteta, but it's a real shame he's had to learn the hard way. Whereas had he worked for a smaller club, he'd have made all his little mistakes then. Well, I think at least two of you are Spanish speaking there, so I'm going to struggle with this. But what he's trying to do is the famous juego de posición, which is position play in English. And it's what Klopp plays. He plays his own version of it. It's what Pep Guardiola does. And most of the world's big managers are playing this system. And I've done a lot of reading around about it, and it's absolutely fascinating. But the players have to buy into it, and they have to. It's quite a cerebral thing. It's something you have to really understand. You've got to work out where the ball is, what your role is in the section of the pitch that you're in, and you've got to be able to play in different areas of the pitch. It's complex. It's not a simple way of playing, and you don't turn a club round quickly with that unless you've got unlimited funds. So I think all in all, Arteta has an idea of what his core is going to be. He's got his defence near enough ready. He's got the midfield, apart from Xhaka, getting there. I think we've really struggled in moving the ball quickly through midfield. But he's decided he wants to play. He wants to squeeze the play up from the back. There's a Hungarian guy whose name I can never pronounce or even remember, but he basically said a while ago that football teams are like bellows or an accordion. They squeeze and then they open out, and then they squeeze in and then they open out. Now, we all know that the current trend in the EPL and across Europe is to stretch the play as wide as possible in terms of left and right. But what we're now doing is, instead of doing as we did with Arteta at the start, which was allowing teams onto us, creating a lot of space for Aubameyang to run into, we're now doing the opposite. We're pushing up towards the halfway line, and we're relying on these long balls from people like Ben White rather than playing through midfield. And what Partey brings to the party, if you excuse the pun, is he's a past master at playing that 20 to 30 yard through ball that will send your forwards away. So it's exciting times, but we're at a very early stage of it, and I think we'll end up mid-table, and I think next season he'll probably add, well, he will add a couple of forwards and maybe one more midfield player. And then I think we will have a good season next season. And last thing, I think Arteta will be going for both cups this year. We haven't got Europe to distract us, so he'll go for the League Cup or whatever it's called in its latest version, and he'll go for the FA Cup. And I think we could be a good bet if people want to put money on now for one of those cups. So that's where I think it's going. And his core is getting there, but it isn't fully there.
Okay, let's go into the live chat. Just a few comments before we go to the last segment. And Gary says, Arsenal core, Ramsdale, Kieran Tierney, Gabriel, White, Tomiyasu, Partey, Sambi, Pepe, Saka, Erdegaard. Isaac, do you not think Saka he's looking a little bit tired? Does he not need a break?
Saka, I believe, it's like fatigue is catching up with him because he's played so many games. He played for Arsenal. He basically carried us on his back, and then he went to international. He played for England for quite several games, and then he has come back and is straight into the starting 11. So I believe he can rotate him. A couple of he comes back into his best.
Okay. And just one more thing, actually. I noticed that Alfie got a little bit annoyed when the comparisons were made in regards to our former number 10 and Martin Odegaard. But do you not see similarities, Alfie? Do they not play similar? No?
Yeah, of course, and that's the thing, that they are similar, and we're gonna hate on one and we're going to love the other one, and it's just so hypocritical that it pisses me off. Because it's like, we talk about the money a lot and we don't know, really. We don't know. We ask him and we beg him to stay. Like, we as Arsenal fans, we said to Sanchez, please stay with us. We said to Ozil, please stay with us. One left, the other one stayed, and we crucify one, and the other one's like, oh yeah, he was good at Arsenal. It's just not fair. And Ozil gave everything to the end, even like regardless of whatever was happening backstage. Like, he was always supporting the team, and he never said anything bad about Arsenal. So all of our hate in brackets is just speculations, because we don't know what happened on that deal. And it's like, oh, he played like Ozil. It's like, we hated Ozil, so why are we comparing him to Ozil? Just say that he's a good number 10 and that's it. But it's just ridiculous just trying to do that. It's just, I don't know, it's like shooting ourselves in the foot. That's like me comparing, I don't know, Tierney to Ashley Cole. It's like, yeah, he was good, but then he left. So I rather not do that.
Okay.
Just a quick one, Alex. Sometimes back last year, I said that we, as a fan base, we are the most emotional compared to all the other clubs. I've seen how we react to situations, and we top in terms of emotions. So when we crucify Ozil, we tend to forget what he did for us. And like right now, most of the fan base is crucifying Leno. We have forgotten what he's done for this club. So let's chill
100%.
and because right now, just because Ramsdale has kept 2 clean sheets, most of us do not just go into facts and statistics. The only thing they are seeing are the 2 clean sheets. That's why they want Ramsdale. Most of them not go deeper to see their kind of play when they support their arguments. Just the 2 clean sheets, we want him to be playing and not Leno. So let's be very careful when we are crucifying these players.
Okay, thank you for that, Isaac. Back in a live chat, yes, Emerson Rowe, Martinelli come off the bench to change the pace of the game. DMC Harper says, how do we generate good runners off the ball? Can Partey be the key, and can Pepe be more effective in that way instead of opting for the byline too much? Alfie? Or Eltel?
Yeah, I mean, I do like the idea of having runners that are running off the ball, because if there's anything missing, it's that. We know Partey's got good close control, good first touch, and so has the Belgian lad. They're very good at first touch, but what we need is players running off them, running into space. Now, Emil Smith, very good at that, but that's the area of our game that I think is good, and that's why we're not progressing the ball well through midfield. Keep moving in space. But of course, it's possible that Arteta's system is so complex that they're trying to play patterns that have been previously sort of taught to them. And of course, when you get out on the pitch, sometimes you have to think for yourself, not having head with when the opposition have the ball, you must be in this quadrant or that section of the pitch. So I'd like to see a bit more improvisation. I would definitely like to see more energy. I think on the thing about Ozil, the problem with Ozil towards the end was he had his lackadaisical kind of style began to wind up supporters. And of course, he was by then he was a very, very rich man. And as soon as you get to be incredibly rich, we find out whether you've got the killer instinct. Now, I'm thinking tennis players that are wonderful tennis players, but they still want to win the game, because a lot of, well, in fact, all sports again are played as much in the head as in the feet or the hands or the arms. And I think the problem with Ozil was he finally got to the point in his career, he got to 32, he could see the finishing line coming, he was keen to get back to Turkey, and the edge went off his game. You think of these top tennis players, they've all got this edge, this kind of drive. And I've seen Arsenal play against inferior teams that have phenomenal drive. Wimbledon at that time had phenomenal drive. They didn't have the most fantastically skilled players, but my God, they gave you a game. When they crossed that white line, they gave you a game. And if I was to improve Arsenal overnight, the right coach or the right backroom team, you would get another 20% out of play if you fire them. And if you've got players who can't be fired up, then fire them out. I would be saying to the players as they go out onto the pitch, I've often wondered why they don't get Tony Adams to do the sort of team talk. I would say, forget you're playing turf, forget you feel superior. There's no such thing as superior until you've beaten the other team 5-0. And then you should be grateful when you've defeated the team. And sometimes I think we start slow, and it's because we think we're Arsenal, we're mollycoddled, we've got the most amazing training ground, everybody reveres us. But actually, no. What you are is a very lucky man to be in a sport that pays you phenomenal money. Now get out there, show some passion, show that you love Arsenal. And if you don't, and if the cannon is too heavy, move on, because there are other players. And that's the one thing I like about Ramsdale. I think if you haven't seen it, please go online, everybody, and look at the photos and the video of when he signed. And when he signed, his dad was there. He had his granddad's active. They told a story about why he called Aaron Ramsdale. His granddad's name was Ron, so that kept that in. His parents were delighted that he signed for Arsenal. And if you watch that, his dad even gives Aaron a kiss on the top of the head, because he's delighted that his son is playing for a big club. And you can read it when you see Aaron Ramsdale out there, he's giving it every single thing he's got, and that will win you games.
But he has played 2 games, though. He has played 2 games, and that's the problem.
Well,
Like,
don't
he
worry,
has played 2 games. 2 games.
he's got a whole season
It's
ahead
like
of him.
we praise. Yeah, but we praised Martinez, and he was in the club for 10 years. 10 years he was at Arsenal, and he played less than 12 games properly. So we praise these players that did nothing for the club, and we crucify the ones that were actually, good. Because we love the prospect, but we don't like the player when they are actually on the pitch.
Yeah, I think the thing about Martinez, it proved that the guy that is our goalkeeping coach, head goalkeeping coach, Inaki Kanya, hasn't got a clue as to what makes a good goalkeeper. He goes out and tells, because Arteta said, I've taken advice from my coaching team and we're going to let Emi Martinez go. We think we. And then they come and get
then he went to say that he never wanted to be at Arsenal anyway. He said, I didn't want to be an Arsenal. I hate, like, I had to make the choice to go to Arsenal. Martinez said he never wanted to be at Arsenal. So why are we praising the guy? The guy is gone. Let him go. He's done. And let's not praise Ramsdale because he has played 2 games and his grandfather was an Arsenal fan. Let's gonna wait for the season and then we're gonna make the choice. But that's the problem, as Isaac was saying. We're too passionate as Arsenal players, as Arsenal fans. Sorry. And
I've got to try and remind myself. Alfie, I've got to try and remind myself I'm hosting. I don't want to give my opinion, but what I would say, Alfie, is that our former number 10 hasn't left the club in the best way. He's also come out and put in cryptic messages on his social media account. So he's not clean either, Alfie. He's not clean either. So listen, it is what it is. Everyone has to respect each other's opinion, and we've got to move on. We've got to move on. I'm sorry, people.
Definitely. But he did more than what Odegaard has done. So let's gonna compare the players, but what they have done, and it's just simple. Odegaard just starting. We're gonna support him. Hopefully, he's gonna get to that level. But let's gonna praise the guy where we have to praise the guy. He did. Help us.
I think Ozil was a phenomenal player, and he was my favourite player for about 3 years. Absolutely fantastic player for about 3 years, and then something went in his head, or his balance got too heavy, or his wallet got too heavy, and suddenly it all dropped. And it's a shame because you're only a professional athlete for a small number of years. But listen, Odegaard is the captain of Norway. He's got phenomenal potential. He may not make it either, but I still say, and we've all seen this over the years, if you get passionate players, passionate for the club, allied to their skills, then you really have a player. And I think one of the best players, we haven't hardly mentioned him except that he's very tired at the moment, is Saka. I think Saka, in another couple of years, may well develop into a number 10. I think he's a modern day Brady. He's got a sweet left foot. He's got great vision, and I think we've got a player that in 2 or 3 years' time could be of world class standard, and that's
definitely at Bayern Munich.
I've got to move on, people. I've got to move on. Ashidi says, I would pick Laka over Agua. Well, he means Alba, but he's put the G in there. DWT says, good runner player is a twofold situation. They have to make the run, and players need to make the pass. Not sure Arteta has instructed team to do that. Well, I don't know what Arteta's been doing, to be honest. I've got no idea what he's been doing. Besides Pepe, who provides scoring threats if Laka plays? Isaac.
Saka.
Okay.
Yes, Saka is a threat always to any team because of the way that he plays, cutting in with his sweet left foot. So as just someone I said that running off the ball is twofold. I've watched Arsenal play. Sometimes Auba or Pepe makes the run, expecting the ball to be played through. To my surprise, it is played backwards, and you even see Pepe or Auba complaining that the ball was not played through, or someone delayed to release the ball. So it has not happened once. But if you've been watching these matches, it happens severally. So it is right that someone has said he's not sure if Arteta instructs his players to play the ball through. So it something has okay. The pattern has not got into these players completely. So it is something that they have to work on. If someone makes a run, the ball is played through. So I admire the Wenger Arsenal because you knew if, for example, let me use the likes of Ozil and Sanchez, although they are no longer in the club. If Ozil played the ball with a back heel, he was sure Sanchez was there to receive that ball.
Yep.
I've seen them play. I've watched those clips when they were playing together. If he plays a dummy, he was sure Sanchez was behind him. Or if Sanchez played the ball through, he was sure Ozil was there to receive the ball. But that does not happen anymore in this Arsenal team. You don't know who's at the end of that pass. You don't know who's going to receive that pass. Or you're making the run and you are not sure you're going to receive the ball. So something has to be worked on for it to click.
Just
But,
leave Shaka on the bench.
Yeah. Leave Shaka.
boy, leave Shaka alone, Alfie.
He doesn't know what's a through pass. It's just like
He's giving
side
his
pass
all to
boy.
Arsenal. He's giving his all to Arsenal. Leave him alone.
Okay, so he doesn't have much then. There you go.
Bring back
Ozil is the
Shaka.
good one. Shaka is the good one from the bad bunch.
Whoa, LTL was rocking out that hat. Is that the Cannon for the merch
It
hat?
is. I might say to people, this is, I think, was it birthday present my son got
It
got
was
for
from
me?
your son. Yes.
Yeah, and you can get it in different colours, guys. And you can rock around like this, and you look like a DJ or whatever. And go for it. It's all online. I'm sure at the bottom of this you'll be able to sort of find and get them in different colours. And you've got loads of there's jackets and there's t-shirts and jumpers and stuff. So yeah, fly the flag for Cannon Fodder. Hey,
Nice one, Tel. Nice one. Colin says, I would pick Saliba and put Arteta on loan. You can't loan out your manager. You can't.
Actually,
I
Alex, I
would
wanted to say
agree with that.
something on Saliba. I watched them play yesterday with at Olympic Marseille together with Guendouzi. They played very, very well. So actually, at the end of the show, I wanted to say that at the end of the season, let them bring Saliba back and let Holding go. So then
And Arteta as well.
so that we'll have depth in centre backs, because Saliba is young and he is very energetic and he gives his all. So, but there has been a disconnect between Arteta and players who speak up. So that's the disconnect that has been there. He does not know how to manage these players with huge characters. Is like Arteta he wants to be a yes man. He wants, if he says play right back, you play right back without any question. If he says play forward, you play forward without asking questions. That is the problem that Arteta has. If he changes that, he'll be a great manager. But him being a yes man, he'll not manage all the players.
Yeah, because the only way to do that though is with time and experience, and he doesn't have that. He doesn't have the time. He doesn't have the experience, and I definitely agree. But yeah, it's gonna
Yeah,
take him years for him to be able to manage a player like Wendosi.
yeah, and that's why I think he likes Shaka, because Shaka is a big personality in the dressing room, but he also does whatever Arteta tells him. And towards the end of last season, can you remember when we had no left back, and he asked Shaka to play left back? Now this is asking a man who cannot defend. This is a man who cannot tackle. He's got a sweet left foot. He can do these diagonal 40-yard balls, but he cannot tackle. He cannot defend. And when Arteta said, "I want you to play left back," was that in the semi-final? And he played him at left back, and it was a disaster. But as Isaac said, and you're all kind of nodding to it, he's got a problem with players who stand up to him, and he therefore gets a lot of yes men around him. And you can see that, if you guys watch the two guys that are Steve Round, is it, and Steve Stuyvenberg, the guys that are around him, they're always nodding and they're always agreeing with him. Well, I never see a face from either of them to say, no, do it different. And a good manager has people who challenge him or her. You don't want yes people around you all the time. So I would definitely agree there with both the guys there that he tends to surround himself because Arteta's head is so full of tactics. And he's tactically very, very good and astute. But sometimes you can overthink a game. Sometimes you've got to allow a team to just go with the flow. And I get the feeling that sometimes Arsenal are far better when they're forced to go with the flow. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a fork in the road. This match and the Spurs match are very, very telling. Now, personally, I don't know what you guys think. I would give Arteta longer. I would give him hopefully until the end of the season. But of course, we are in a results-driven game, and if he keeps, if I keep getting defeated, the pressure on Arteta is going to be really tough. So I really do hope we beat Burnley. I think we probably will. I think the Tottenham match could be a whole different ball game. But you know what? That when you play a local derby, it's often about passion. The teams are fairly evenly matched. Maybe Tottenham have got slightly better man. Not too sure about that because we've got some good young players through. But it's going to be about passion. So we've got to have teams that will never say die, and that's because they're wearing the right bath.
Let me go through this last few comments. There's been so many comments, I can't go through all of them. Colin says, Leno stayed his ground, so we sold one of the best keepers in the world. And Gary says, then Leno stated he could see himself elsewhere. I don't like players complaining about the stuff going on behind the scenes. Just keep your mouth quiet and just do your job. But that's modern day footballers for you, isn't it? Colin says, I'm not doing the snowflake thing. It's not crucifying players when you say a player that is not putting up the performances is not good enough. And well, Eltel, you've got a fan in the live chat. He says, yeah, tell the truth, Eltel. Tell the truth.
Yeah. Well, listen, I would say to Colin, and Colin agrees with me, I've seen players over the years who were not wonderful footballers for Arsenal, but their passion was phenomenal. And the crowd will rise up behind a player who's giving it 110%. We've all had them in whatever era you've seen in Arsenal. You've had players that you know are going to give everything they have. And you need one or two of those. You don't want a whole team full of them, but you need guys like that because the other players look around and they go, this guy hasn't got half my skill and he's giving it everything. Teams need that. It's all part of the sort of recipe of making a good team work.
Okay, just one more before we go into the last segment. Colin says he played more than just 2 games, Alfie. The Premier League doesn't begin and end with Arsenal. Emi Martinez out and Keep Leonard was the biggest statement of not a clue I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's say nothing more than that. Do you want to respond, Alfie, before we go to the last? No?
Yeah. It's not true. Wenger had Emi Martinez for 8 years, never play him. There is a reason for that. Also, yes, he has played 2 games for Arsenal. I don't care who you played before with. I'm interested in your results with Arsenal. Sanchez was a machine at Barcelona, but that was good for him. But the important part is when they are with us. And we shouldn't overpraise them. Like, let's gonna wait. The guy is good, but let's not overpraise them until we get the results that we need to.
Okay, well said. All right, so LTL is in changing hats, the accessories there. Prediction time for tomorrow. Isaac, prediction, please. Isaac. You look like Arteta.
Actually, before the start of the season, Arteta looked very young, very, very young. But when you look at him during his his press conferences, he's grown older. Just like we looked very young before the season started, and now we're looking very old because it is Arsenal again, and we are scratching our heads. But I believe Arsenal is going to win tomorrow. If we played Burnley after the loss to Brentford and Chelsea, we would have probably lost. But we are playing Burnley after a win to Norwich, and I believe we are going to win. That is one thing that is going to push them, that we've won against Norwich, and we want to build on that win. So that is one thing that is going to push all the other players to play their game so that they win. They want to build on that win. So someone said it doesn't matter how we won against Norwich. A win is a win, and a winning builds winning. So we won, and I believe they are going to build on that and win the tomorrow game. So my prediction is Arsenal will win tomorrow.
Okay. Alfie, prediction, please.
I'm not. I refuse.
Okay.
But
okay.
If Burnley scores first, then we are not winning that game. We're either drawing or losing. If we can score first, there is a big chance that we can win that game. But if Burnley scores first, we are not winning that game.
Okay. Godfather.
Well, I've got a lot of friends going up to Burnley. It was quite easy to get away tickets for the Burnley match. And I think my friends are going to be coming back singing 3-0 to the Arsenal. 3-0 to the Arsenal. There you
go. Well, you know what? We've come to an end on this this third episode of the Easy Talk. Those 2 cups of glass of wine I had there wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. Anyway, listen. Thank you to
just save them for tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah, the views that came, I saw like it topped up like 30 odd at any one time, which is really good for a Friday night. And our moderators, I think there was no problems, no silly comments, apart from one I didn't want to even read out. But thank you for that. To our guests, yes, top right, Alfie, Isaac. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for coming back on the Easy Talk on Cannon 40 TV. Say hello to your family from us, and let's hope for a win tomorrow. Thank you for that, Isaac. Anything you want to say, Isaac?
It is a pleasure to come back to this platform. It has been long, but I enjoy doing this. So I love Arsenal. Arsenal for life. It doesn't matter where we are, bottom of the table or top of the table, I'm always Arsenal.
Brilliant, brilliant. And a cheeky chappy.
It's a pleasure to be back. It's a pleasure to be angry with you guys again. And yeah, hopefully we can get the results that we want.
That's if we score first.
If and only if.
God, dear me. And last but not least, the Godfather himself.
Well, I was going to say there, isn't that the magic of football? You can go to a game, you can love your team, you can get angry with your team, you can run through a whole gamut of emotions, and everyone is valid. And as long as you see your team giving its all and giving its best, then you're with the right team. And the right team tomorrow, I wonder what kit we're going to play, actually, because I can zoom out.
It's a yellow.
It's a yellow. Okay.
Yeah.
Lemon, as I call it. It's the lemons. Right, we've got the old lemon kit on. Okay, good one. Okay. Well, at least we can see each other on the pitch. It's quite Where is he? He's wearing yellow. Oh yeah. I see him.
All right, guys. Thank you for that. Have a good evening. Thank you, guys, again for coming back on Cannon 40 TV. There is no Easy Talk next Friday. After this one, I'm going to give myself a break. I deserve a break. But I will be back tomorrow morning. It's not a preview of the game. It's just the Saturday morning show. And I'll also be going live with my brother on the Sunday morning catch-up, putting a lot of sauce on the catch-up on the show. But yeah. So from the guys, panelists, got a bit heated, and from everyone on Cannon 40 TV, I want to wish you all a wonderful evening or afternoon, wherever you are in this world. And you have been listening to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this